What's going on, guys? I just wanted to give some quick tips on how to decide on planning training blocks and how long a training block should be. So a lot of people will know that they should focus on hypertrophy, or they should focus on a bit more volume, or they should focus on going a bit heavy and trying to build strength in their training blocks. They know what they need to focus on their training blocks, but some people don't really know how long to do it for. So when I talk to some of my friends, when I talk to some people who first join up when they join Ronin, they kind of say, "Oh, I feel like I need to work on strength, or I need to build this up." And they always give out like an arbitrary number, like maybe for like 8 weeks, maybe 12 weeks, and this goes into a whole other conversation. I'm going to try and not go off on a tandem too much, but when you're thinking about training blocks, one of the things you need to find out when you're coaching someone or when you're training with yourself is how long it takes you to actually respond to something so that you can increase the performance marker that you're looking for. So if you're looking to increase your back squat, if you're looking to have an increase in strength, do you find that you can see an increase, like a bump up in performance after 4 weeks? Okay, well, training blocks for you for strength are 4 weeks long. If you want to do a big training block, so you want to do a training block focus of strength, it means that if you want to see a meaningful increase in your back squat, let's say you want to go from a 200 back squat to 240, it might mean that you need to string together 3 to 4 blocks of 4 weeks of strength work on your back squat. And I'm not saying you'll get to 250 from 200 to 250 in that time, but it means that you need to give enough of those 4 week blocks to get as close to it as possible. And the reason you want to find out how long these training blocks last is because it lets you see how your body regulates itself, how your body's readiness changes, and when you can expect to see a PB from your lifters or from yourself. Now, that's not to say that every single time you do a 4 week block, if you respond well in 4 week chunks, that you're always going to PB at the end of the 4 weeks. But what it does mean is that you're always going to see a little uptick in your performance on that 4th week, which means that you can plan around that. So in terms of the rhythm of trying to plan for when you're going to go to the heaviest and when you're going to drop the volume down, you know that every 4th week is probably going to be about right. For some people, it's super short. For some people, it's 2 to 3 weeks. For some people, it can be longer. It can be 6 to 8 weeks. For some people, it can be 12. But that is the general rule of thumb. You want to find out how short of a time do you need to put into something before you see an uptick in performance, and that's how long your training blocks are. And then you can make bigger and bigger training blocks or macro and mesocycles off of that. And the easiest way to honestly that I've found to find this out, especially with the Ronin lifters, is to find out how long does it take you to increase your back squat or bench, or your back squat or push press, or your back squat or bench, or your deadlift or your snatch good deadlift. One of the raw strength markers that is fairly consistent that you can expect to see an increase in, because it's a fairly simple movement compared to the Olympic lift, so it's not going to be limited too much by technical inconsistency. And once you've planned this, you can then start to plan your strength work first, and then start to put the Olympic lifts in after it. And you can allow the Olympic lifts to follow on with what rhythm your strength work is going to be going at. That is honestly the easiest way I've found to program for people, or program for myself, or if you're going to program for yourself, to be able to program your lifts in, so you know what rhythm to go with, and you know when do I need a volume week, when do I need a drop down week, when do I need to test, because if you know the rhythm of how your body works, then it's going to be fine. And just bear in mind that there's going to be differences in how you respond to singles, how you respond to doubles, how you respond to triples, how you respond to sets of 5. Your deadlift might need more than a 4 week block. So if you're focusing on back squats and your back squats respond in a 4 week block of time, and you're trying to get your deadlift to go along with it, you know that you might need to make it so that your deadlift, you progress it 4 weeks along like your back squat does, but you don't test it every 4th week. Maybe you only test it every 8th. Same as your snatch and clean and jerk, you might find that in order to make technical changes, it takes you a little bit longer. So your your squat and your back, so your squat and your front squat, your strength stuff progresses every 5th week, but your Olympic lifts feel like it needs 6 or 7 weeks. So then you need to program for that to make sure that even though your strength is going to progress every 5 or 6 weeks, you need to make sure that you're accounting for the fact that your Olympic lifts won't progress as fast, as an example. But knowing the training block length that you need as a minimum is going to help you to program things a lot faster. It's going to help you to get people to make more progress. And the people that you'll see who are hitting a lot of PBs with Ronin at the moment, if you go on to I'll tag it here, so you can go and see it. The people who are hitting the most PBs at the moment, the reason they're hitting a lot of PBs and lots of people I program, the reason they hit like a massive chunk of PBs at once, or they seem to PB quite regularly, isn't because they're new. It's not because they're new to the sport. Most of them have been doing it for a couple of years, or at least they have like a solid training background. It's literally because we figured out what training block length they need to progress in things. We've then figured out what movements they need to progress in, to work on weaknesses. We've then figured out what movements they're good at. We've figured out what accessory work they need. And then you just keep repeating that round and round, adding variation where you need to keep it fresh, to keep them interested, and to make sure that they're enjoying it, and to make sure that you're not getting any overuse injuries and stupid stuff like that. And you keep repeating that round until the training block rhythm, the training block style doesn't work anymore. Then you try something else and you make a subtle change, and then it will likely carry on again. But that is one of the most valuable, probably underrated things that people don't think about is, yes, you need to do a hypertrophy block. Yes, you need to do a block of volume. Yes, you can't just do singles every single training block forever. But How long do you program fives for? How long do you program tens for? How long do you do threes for? How long do you focus on your deadlift for? The easiest way to find that out is to find out what is the minimum amount of time I need to make an increase in my strength in one of my key movements that I know will help my Olympic lifts or my performance, and then start to program everything around that training, that training time. And I'm not saying it's always going to be like that, or maybe there's not a better way or a more like nuanced way to do it, but that is one of the easiest ways to do it, especially if you coach a team. Find out what length of time someone needs to make an increase in these things, and then make it coincide in that.